Greetings, beloved. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Creme Constellation, where I share astrology as a tool for gaining clarity and awareness. And today I want to make you aware of Mercury going retrograde in the sign of Pisces. This is the very first Mercury retrograde of the year, and the others that are coming will also be in the water signs. So, water signs, I hope you are prepared to have your lives restructured by Mercury, and of course everyone else as well. You just need to look at your water sign ruled houses, and that's where Mercury will be doing the restructuring for you as well. So nobody is really left out. And the key thing I want you to remember is that the most accurate astrology is your personal astrology. So make sure that you have your birth chart handy so you can apply some of the information shared today to your personal life. And please don't try to make something fit that doesn't fit for you. All right, allow it to be natural and only take what resonates. And with that said, let's get into it. So, Mercury retrograde in the sign of Pisces begins on the 26th of February and it ends on the 20th of March 2026. So, this is excluding the pre retrograde and post retrograde shadows. So, keep that in mind. And then the signs that are most impacted by this retrograde are the mutable signs. So this is Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius. So if you have significant placements, planets, or angles within those mutable signs, especially between 8 and 22 degrees of any of the mutable signs, then you may be significantly impacted by this retrograde. All right, you are definitely on Mercury's to-do list for this one. So in general, when Mercury is in Pisces, it becomes a lot more creative and imaginative. All right, creating the perfect energy for writing a script, writing poetry, writing a love letter, maybe writing music, shooting a film. All right, anything creative that requires creative ideas, that requires a creative mind. Mercury in Pisces is the perfect energy for that. And also in Pisces, Mercury is more drawn to conversations about spirituality and learning more about the subconscious mind, the hidden realms, and just things that cannot be explained. So it really gives our mentality and our mindset a more idealistic, romantic, imaginative, and spiritual feel to it. So, where it can get a little problematic and sticky and difficult to work with is when we aren't able to focus on one particular task, because our minds tend to just keep escaping off to la la land, and we put on these rose-colored glasses and we can't really see things clearly. We're not thinking clearly when Mercury is in Pisces. So that could be a challenging energy to work with, especially when you need to get things done with precision, right? Everything just seems really peachy and wonderful. And unfortunately, this is what creates the environment for delusion and confusion to thrive. And a side note, this can be really, really well observed in a solar return or a lunar return where you have Mercury and Pisces. And observe how you have a lot of ideas, right? Your creative juices are flowing. I mean, the ideas are abundant. However, when you have to now take action on something, you kind of don't know where to start, or you don't know how to really materialize the idea and make it tangible and practical, to the point where you may even spend more time imagining than you are doing. So the Mercury and Pisces energy can be very tricky to work with, especially if you're not a Mercury in Pisces native, like you're not natively born with it. When it comes about within a solar return reading or a solar return chart, it could definitely throw you for a loop where you're like, man, I have all these ideas, but I haven't started anything. I haven't done anything with it, to the point where you may never, right, take any action with the ideas that you're having, which is really sad. So if you do have Mercury in Pisces during a solar return, do something with it. Don't let this energy go to waste. But yeah, I am fully aware that the Mercury in Pisces energy can be a little tricky to work with, to really get a hold on it and use it effectively. But anyway, back to this video. So when Mercury now goes retrograde in the sign of Pisces, we can expect to notice or experience misunderstandings and miscommunications on steroids. Like the Pisces haziness and lack of clarity mixed with the retrograde energy of Mercury, it really needs us to quadruple check the correspondence that we are having with others. Like you need to quadruple check what is in that text message, the email. Make sure that if you're making a payment, you have all the details correct. If you feel like you're already a forgetful person during this retrograde, make sure that you have a checklist so that you can tick things off your box, because you may think that you've done something only to find that you didn't do it, you didn't respond, or you didn't submit whatever it is for you. So yeah, this Mercury retrograde does not want you to sleep on the details, because things can very well be forgotten or be completely confusing within the communication and correspondence side. So do your due diligence. And also with this energy, don't take things too personally. Like Mercury retrograde in Pisces is a very jumpy to conclusion-y kind of energy. So in order to avoid that, you definitely want to reflect and revise and release. All right, revise the conversations. Really think about what the person said rather than what you heard them say. All right, take things literally. Don't sugarcoat things with your own understanding around this time, especially if a person says a particular thing, take their word for it, rather than trying to rationalize it around this time. You may completely miss the boat and completely misunderstand what it is that they were intending to say or what message that they were intending to deliver. If you are confused, ask questions, ask for clarity, and ask for help. And then the last thing I said there was release, right? Remember that the Pisces energy is all about endings, releasing, letting things go, and surrendering. All right, so in your reflections and your revisions, you may realize that maybe you've been holding on too tightly to something. Maybe you have been trying to control certain outcomes too rigidly. And the more you try hard, the more confusing it is and the more depleted you become, right? So practice surrender around this time. Practice allowing a thing to reveal itself to you, what it wants to be, how it wants to take form. Remember, this is water energy. It's very malleable and it takes the shape and the form of anything. So when you are trying to force it into a particular shape, you may have a difficult time, right? Retaining that water, or whatever it is that the Pisces energy rules for you, and you're forcing it, you're trying to make it this, but it's trying to tell you that I'm just not going to be that. You need to let me flow so that you can see what I can become and then take it from there. So I hope that analogy is not too muddied up and that it makes sense to you. But release, even if it's a grudge or someone that you had decided once upon a time that you're just going to hate them forever because they deserve it, or whatever the internal narrative is within you. But now is the time to release it, let it go, clear your mind, and allow for new ideas to come about that can assist you with moving forward and progressing in this Pisces area in this Pisces ruled area of your life. And then another experience of this Mercury retrograde could be nostalgia and being very reminiscent of the past. So you may notice a resurfacing of past emotional issues or subconscious issues like fears, shame, guilt, insecurities, losses that you believe that you had. You know, this could be the people who have left your life either because you no longer speak to them, or it could be people who have crossed over and passed on. So this could be a time where you're really thinking of them a lot. Maybe you're even reminded of them a lot with your surroundings. You know, you might meet someone new who shares the same name as a person who has passed on, or there are songs that are reminding you of an ex, or you go to a restaurant that you used to go to with your ex-best friend. Like, there could be so many triggers about past people, past situations around this time. So you may also find yourself just thinking about the past a lot, revisiting situations and how they made you feel about yourself. So when it comes to the guilt, the shame, the insecurities, I would really suggest that you don't torture yourself when you are reflecting and introspecting on these things. Use this rather as a time to practice forgiveness and letting things go. Once again, the Pisces energy, release, surrender. All right, you don't have to punish yourself for the rest of your life, regardless of how horrible you think that the thing that you did was. Forgive yourself and let it go. You know, having remorse is really an indication that you have a clear and a full understanding that you do not want to be the person that did those past things. So you don't have to torture yourself with it. All right, you're allowed to have forgiveness and to give it to yourself. So even if you try to apologize to someone around this time and they don't accept it, that's okay. Give it to yourself. Give yourself the forgiveness and allow yourself to move on with your life without the heavy weight of guilt and shame, especially if your behaviors have changed, your morals have changed, and you no longer do any of what you used to do. And I would say the same goes for other people that have, wronged you within your life, that you have decided that you're going to hate them forever and hold this grudge against them forever because they deserve it for whatever it is that they did to you. However, you're tethering yourself to them and you're carrying a weight that's kind of making life feel heavier for you internally, spiritually, mentally. And I think around this time, you may really notice that you want to be free. You don't want to be weighed down by the trauma. You don't want to be weighed down by these disappointments and the people that have let you down. So forgive them. They were who they were for that moment. You got an opportunity to learn something, not only about them, but more especially about yourself, about who you are, what you prefer, and what you're not going to allow yourself to experience anymore. And you do not need to disempower yourself with holding a grudge or holding hatred for someone else within your own body. Remember, the illnesses and the diseases that we experience in this life, they tend to have a connection to the emotions that we are holding on to, that we are harboring, the things that we are refusing to release and let go of. So that might not apply to everyone. So really do only take it if it resonates for you. And then another experience that we may have during this Mercury retrograde is one of confusion and deception. So first things first, we do not start anything new during Mercury retrograde. If you didn't already know that, now you know. The energy does not support new beginnings. However, it could definitely be a time of renewal of past things. So look at what needs to be revisited, where there can be a renewed start, a revitalization, or a rebirth within that area, but no new experiences, new beginnings, or anything new like that. Please don't do that to yourself. Okay, but anyway, back to the deception and confusion. So if you're not vigilant, right, and you're not attentive on the day to day, you could succumb to being scammed, stolen from, bamboozled, where promises, like big promises, could be made to you. And then when it comes to the delivery doesn't happen. The people don't do what they said they were going to do. Or maybe they do deliver, but whatever it is that you are getting is very, very underwhelming. So do be vigilant out there. Try not to fall for, you've won a prize knowing that you didn't enter any competitions, all right? Or you've got the job knowing that you didn't really send out your CV, or they're not really clear or transparent as to what the job title is. The we are hirings, where you don't really know what the task is, who is hiring, who's the company, who's behind it, like what's going on here. Look out for those fishy kind of experiences that are happening, and really, really do your best to not be desperate for a miracle right now, because this energy is very prone to believing that a magical miracle thing can happen right now. Um, I want to say it can, but it's probably going, that miracle, that miraculous thing that happens for you, it's likely going to be connected to an action that you have done, or some sort of work that you have put in the past. It's not going to materialize out of thin air. All right, so as I just said, if you have not put any effort or energy towards something, really don't expect the opportunity to come and find you, but if you know that you have been putting in the work, putting in the energy, you've been busy, you've been working at it, then yes, absolutely, it is very possible that something may miraculously happen and work out in your favor, but it is due to a past action, past effort, past activity. It's not coming out of nowhere. Okay, so please do keep that in mind. And with all that said, don't lose your faith. All right, don't lose your faith. You just right now need to be very careful of people who may try to take advantage of that. And another experience of this Mercury retrograde in Pisces could be feeling lost, right? Some of us may be feeling like, I don't know where to go from here. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to call. I don't know, who to talk to. I don't know what the first step should be. I just don't know. I want to advise you to be okay with that, at least for the retrograde season, right? For as long as this retrograde is active. Sit in the unknown, sit in it from the point of discomfort until you become comfortable with it, that it's okay to not know. Sometimes certain things are not for you to figure out. And there is someone who may come to you synchronistically, unexpectedly, because you prayed for this months ago, years ago, even, that I really want to understand this. I really want clarity on this particular thing. And I just don't have it right now. I just don't know, right? That person that you had prayed for, that clarity that you had prayed for, it may come around during this retrograde if you can just sit and wait for it. Allow for it to come to you. You don't have to be the one who's doing all the digging and all the work. All right. So, in as much as I have said that the retrograde energy is about reflection and revisiting things, the Pisces energy is passive. It's receptive, right? So it's better to be a receiver, get comfortable with receiving, and see what comes your way. All right. This is a time to observe what it is that your past efforts are gaining you. Okay. It's not necessarily like a retrograde in the sign of Aries where you need to redo a particular action. I feel like this is a time of receiving, receiving the revelation, receive the insight, receive the clarity, and receive the opportunity if that is what is in store for you. But it's okay to be a little bit confused. It's natural, it's normal, and it happens to the best of us. And then one more experience that I want to bring to your awareness about this retrograde is heightened sensitivity. All right, this could be physical sensitivity, spiritual sensitivity, energetic sensitivity. We may be feeling more sensitive than usual. And this one can be both challenging and really, really positive. So, positive in the sense that your intuition is heightened and you may be more easily able to pick up on BS when it presents itself, right? People who are scammers, people who are, who have ill intentions and who are not honest. If you are using your intuition, if you're tapped in, you're going to be able to pick up on that pretty quickly, and you're going to be able to avoid engaging in situations that could otherwise wind up disappointing you or leaving you disillusioned at the end of it. Then on the more challenging side, it could be that because you're so hypersensitive to energies, being around certain people of a low vibration, people who are particularly negative or, that have ill intentions, that could really drain you, right? You may find yourself getting into spaces or being around people and you just feel like, I don't have the energy to be here. I would rather be alone. I prefer to isolate myself. I don't want to speak to anyone. I don't want to share my 2 cents or whatever it is that other people may be asking of you. So you may be feeling really, really drained. So it could be very important that you rest, right? You rest in isolation, you rest your mind, rest your voice, don't speak. Take a break from social media, do some detoxing. Don't be overstimulated mentally, spiritually. Some of you could also be having very vivid dreams around this time. And when you wake up from the dream, you could be feeling physically and energetically drained or tired. So yeah, it could be very emotionally overwhelming or energetically overwhelming. But all of that really depends on how this Mercury retrograde impacts your placements within your chart. So as I said in the beginning, verify this information, reflect it and apply it to your personal placements. If you don't know how to do that yourself, you are more than welcome to reach out to me and we can map out this Mercury retrograde for you and talk about it in private. My details are in the comment section. No, my details are in the description below if you're looking to reach out to me personally. And also, you can expect the usual suspects from Mercury retrograde, the traffic delays, the appliances and technology not functioning the way that they're supposed to, cancelled plans in general, and the miscommunications as already mentioned. So stay on your toes, but also if something is not working out, just kind of let it go. All right, Mercury retrograde is temporary. It's not going to be like that forever. So if you want to know how this is going to manifest for you personally, remember what I said in the beginning. The most accurate astrology is your personal astrology. So you can leave your question in the comment section below, or you can reach out to me privately. But for now, I will give you a very brief overview of what you might be expecting according to your element. So check your rising sign, see if it's in water, fire, air, or earth, and watch for the earth signs, watch for the air signs, whichever element it is for you, as well as your sun sign element and your moon sign element for a complete overview. And with that said, thank you for watching and I will see you soon. The timestamps are in the description below. Hi there, fire signs. So this Mercury retrograde impacts your inner world. This is the life that we live behind the scenes, that which is more private and intimate to us. So you may notice that this retrograde brings up or triggers experiences involving your family. You could be very reminiscent of childhood right now, how you grew up and the people or the experiences that contributed towards the foundation that you now live your life upon, and how you define yourself and how you feel about yourself. So there could be a lot of reminders around you of the way that you grew up and the people that raised you, the people that you feel connected to, and what makes you feel at home, not just physically but spiritually as well. There could also be some reconciliation with estranged family members. If there is a family member that you don't have a close relationship with, this could be the time where you reconcile and you're able to forgive and let certain grudges go. And also, it would be a good idea for some of you to actually physically visit your childhood home. I feel like that could be very spiritually grounding for you, especially if you feel disconnected or lost around this time. Going home may be the remedy for you. And others of you may be experiencing a resurfacing of your fears, your addictions, compulsions, and the things that make you feel powerless in this life. These may be coming up in order for you to really see them for what they are, right? For you to gain the clarity that you need in order to no longer feel disempowered by these things. and to no longer feel held back by some of these fears and these addictions that you may have. You may get to the bottom of what it is that an addiction is rooted in the sense that you may not have known why you do a particular thing compulsively, right? Or maybe why you're addicted to a particular substance or activity. And during this retrograde, as you introspect, you may actually connect the dot and realize that you are addicted to this substance because you're trying to escape the feeling of feeling powerless, or the feeling of being afraid of this outcome, or you're trying to escape a lack of trust, or not feeling safe in the environment that you are in, or whatever the case may be, whatever the revelations are for you. But this could be a time of great illumination for you if you allow it to be, fire signs. And also, this could be a time where the things that you have lost and the things that have ended in your life, they really are starting to make sense to you now. And maybe you have been yearning for those things. Maybe you have felt that your life isn't going to be the same without having this particular thing or this particular person in your life. But around this time, you may actually realize that, it's okay for this thing to no longer be here, or for this person to no longer be a part of my life. It could be because this next phase and this next cycle of my life requires me to do certain things either on my own or without this person present. All right. So many revelations are in store for you, fire signs, and I hope that you allow this Mercury retrograde to serve you as best as it can. And another thing, fire signs, I want you to pay attention to your dreams as well. There could be some significant communications that are coming through for you through your dreams. So definitely this is the time to keep a dream journal or diary. And when it comes to the interpretation, do your best to interpret the dreams yourself. What meaning you give to the images that you see in your dreams could be way more relevant to you than somebody else's interpretation, even if they are an expert. So I'm not saying do not go to a dream interpreter, but I'm saying give yourself a chance to see what meaning you personally can derive from some of the dreams that you are having. And you may actually be able to speak dream around this time. So I hope that you do try to do that if you are one of the people that is having vivid dreams around this time. And above all, I think you, more than any other element, fire signs, forgiveness is a big one for you. Release, letting go, and forgiving is a very, very big one for you during this Mercury retrograde. So do apply it as best as you can. And if you have personal experiences or questions that you want to share, the comment section is fully available for you to use. And if you want something more private, my contact methods are listed in the description. And for now, thank you for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Hey, Earth signs. So this Mercury retrograde in the sign of Pisces will be impacting your world of relationships and connections. So you may be the ones, Earth signs, that are super reminiscent of past people, right? Your exes, people who may have passed on, or people who you are no longer in contact with. You're no longer friends with them. You don't know what's going on in their lives, or maybe you do, okay? Because some of us do some spying here and there. But this could be a time where you're really wondering, where is this person? What are they doing? Are they happier without me? I wonder what would have happened if things kept going. I wonder what would have happened, or where we would be now if we were still together. You could also be imagining a lot about an ideal community for yourself, that if you had people around you who understood you and who could support you in the ways that you need, you'd be so much better off. You'd be so much healthier. All right. So these could be the things that you are yearning for around this time. Look, Earth signs, it's okay for you to reminisce and remember the good old days for good reason. If you're, reflecting on the good memories, all right? But if you're gonna torture yourself with shoulda, coulda, woulda, that's going to be a very unpleasant Mercury retrograde for you. Those people are no longer in your life for a reason. More specifically, the people who are ex, lovers or ex friends or ex bosses, right? Or ex business partners. They are gone for good reason. Trust that they have been deliberately moved from your life to serve you, all right, to serve you in whichever way it is that you are going to progress in your life. And they're also making room for other people to come into your life, right? So that you can have a tribe around you that is more aligned with who you are, your values, and how it is that you want to live your life. So release them, let them go, forgive them, don't hold anything against anyone. I would also say, I hope that you're not wishing for anyone to come back that wasn't good to you and that didn't treat you well. All right. However, with that said, yes, there is a possibility of reconciliation, either with an ex-lover, especially for the longer term relationships, not the casual dating. But if you are in a very long-term relationship with somebody, yes, it's possible that they may come around at this time and you may reconcile and, get your relationship back on track. And if that's you, that's wonderful. But for some of you, that person isn't really coming back for you to get back together with them. They're only coming back for closure, for you to finally release them from your energy field, from your mind, from your emotions, all right, to give you the clarity, the answers that you need. So for those of you who are not getting these answers, right, you may be hoping and yearning for this person that did you wrong or that ghosted you, that disappeared from your life to come back, and you're just waiting and waiting and they don't show up, right? Or you do bump into them, but they don't say anything. They don't take any accountability for anything. And then you wind up having to give the apology to yourself because you can see that this person is not going to take accountability. They are not remorseful, or they're not even aware that they did anything wrong. All right. So yes, you could absolutely tell them that they have wronged you, but they may not necessarily care. Like whatever it is that you're going to share, brace yourself that the person that you are sharing it with may be completely disconnected and not really feel you and not really understand why it is that you are offended or why it is that you feel some type of way. They may think that they can just pick up where they left off as if nothing happened. And if you are not okay with that, set a boundary. Do not allow your boundaries to be dissolved, which is another thing for you to be careful of during this Mercury retrograde is, the boundaries, setting those boundaries can be a little bit tricky right now, but you may very well realize that you're going to be taken advantage of by people if you don't set the boundaries and stick to them and be stern with them. If people are going to be in your life, they need to respect how it is that you choose to operate. So make sure that that is clear. And if they're not listening to you when you tell them, then they may listen to your actions of you closing the door and leaving them on the opposite side. So it's entirely up to you. Navigate your life how you wish to, Earth signs. But please do set those boundaries and allow this Mercury retrograde to serve you accordingly. And if you have any experiences or questions that you would like to share, the comment section is fully available for you. And yes, I'm going to respond. But if you would prefer something more private, my contact methods are in the description below. And for now, thank you for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Hey air signs, so this Mercury retrograde in the sign of Pisces will be impacting your world of accomplishments and livelihood. So you may be having experiences where you're really reminiscent of past opportunities that you didn't take, all right? Or maybe even opportunities that you feel like never came, they never showed up for you. And around this time, I would really urge you to keep your faith, right? Continue to pray. Keep affirming what it is that you prefer to see in your reality and allow yourself to receive. This is not necessarily the time for you to put the pedal to the metal and try to, progress yourself or make a way for yourself, make a name for yourself within the work sphere. This is a time where you need to allow, or you don't need to, but you can allow your work to kind of give you the residuals, right? Look at what you have put out into the world, be it in the workplace. If you work for yourself, you're an entrepreneur, it'll be within the connections and the network that you've made with people. If you work in some form of a company, the impressions that you have made on your superiors, and allow for that to reflect to you as you observe, right? And as you reflect on what is transpiring within these areas of life, allow for that to show you, right? To be educational to you as to what are you going to do next once Mercury retrograde is over, but what are you going to do next to propel yourself forward? What are the things that you haven't been doing? And you can go so far as to asking people for their feedback. Yeah, I don't know how accurate it's going to be with Mercury being retrograde right now. Some of them may not be honest with you, but it would be a good idea to ask a few people that you trust to give you feedback on your work, on your product, on what it is that you are putting out, so that you have a better understanding of some of the improvements that you can make. But yeah, this is a time when, we don't give up. Even if things are unclear as to how are we going to move forward, how are we going to put food on the table, how can we earn more money, earn more recognition, earn more clientele, whichever one it is for you, it's okay to not know. All right. It's okay to kind of sit in the unknown and let life surprise you. And then upon receiving an idea, receiving an inspiration, or receiving an opportunity, and then that's where you take action. But don't try right now to look for things to do, because you're only going to exhaust yourself, and it's also going to come across as though you're not supported by the universe, which is not true. You are fully supported. So take it easy, air signs. And also, another thing, the overthinking, you need to relax that, especially with Mercury being in the sign of Pisces. Relax your mind as often as possible. As often as possible, air signs. Try not to figure anything out. You may very well be the one sign that I would advise to introspect in moderation. You don't have to do all the journaling and all the analyzing, because I feel like you do that already on a daily basis. So this is a time where I would say relax your mind and allow things to be revealed to you rather than doing the research yourself. You will be surprised as to how these answers just find you, right? The clarity just comes to you if you kind of just relax and allow it to, especially when it comes to your career path, your livelihood, and how it is that you earn a living. So do not lose your hope, do not lose your faith. Keep praying, but yeah, take it easy on the analysis and the jumping to conclusions. When I was talking about jumping to conclusions, I was definitely specifically referring to you, and how much you live so much in the mind. Please do not jump to conclusions and take things as they come. All right, I hope that that gives you some sort of clarity as to how this Mercury retrograde may manifest for you. If you have experiences or questions that you would like to share, the comment section is fully available for you to use. And if you prefer something more private, my contact details are in the description below. For now, thank you for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Hey there, water signs. So, this Mercury retrograde will be impacting your world of self, right? Your identity, your expression, and your life philosophies. So, you may be experiencing a lot of introspecting on yourself, whether you're thinking about how far you have come from where you had started, or you're thinking about your beliefs, right? What it is that you believe about yourself, and what it is that you believe about reality, and how your definitions of yourself and your definitions of reality are working for you, right? So you may realize, as you introspect and reflect, you may realize that the philosophies that you have may not necessarily be working for you in terms of the things that you want to do with your life, the actions that you want to take, and the ways in which you would like to express yourself, or vice versa. You may find that the way that you are expressing yourself is not in the most perfect alignment with what it is that you are saying or claiming that you believe. All right, so there could be somewhat of a test there where you really need to get clear. You need to redefine your definitions of yourself or your definitions of your beliefs, how you want other people to perceive you, but more importantly, how it is that you want to express yourself in this life, and how it is going to fulfill you at the end of the day. Because in as much as we are here to be of service to each other, we are also here to serve ourselves. And that is by living an authentic life, and living a life that makes us happy and fulfilled at the end of the day. Because I know you water signs, you're very empathetic, and very compassionate, and the well-being of others, it tends to always overshadow your own personal well-being, where other people have to come first above you. All right, so these are the things, these are the definitions, the philosophies that you may need to reflect on and figure out, what can you change? What new definition, meaning, or belief can you add to your life that aids you in living a life that is more successful and also emotionally fulfilling as well? And I will say, water signs, this is a great time for you to get creative, but get creative on something that you've already started. So go back to those hobbies that you have, those hobbies that you claim to not have time for. Try to create time around this Mercury retrograde. Reconnect with your creative side, reconnect with your inner child, play a game, do something that takes you back to that imaginative, playful, creative side that you have, and allow yourself to be revitalized, right? And reignited with passion, and a personal fulfillment. I keep saying fulfillment because it's so important for you, water signs, that you do not sleep for yourself, and that you do not sleep on yourself, and that you do not count yourself out when you're thinking about joy and happiness, right? You deserve it too. You are worthy of it too. But anyway, let me not start preaching. This retrograde could also resurface some old insecurities that you may have thought that you already worked through them, but you may find now that actually you didn't fully reconcile this within yourself. And now that someone has said something or something has happened, that insecurity is coming back. It's getting triggered again. So it'll just be a matter of you redefining yourself once again and claiming authority over that insecurity, and not allowing it to hold you back from expressing yourself the way that you want, and from going after the things that you say that you want for yourself. So allow this Mercury retrograde to serve you as best as it can. And if you have any experiences or questions that you may like to share, the comment section is fully available to you, and yes, I will respond. However, if you would like a more private conversation, my contact methods are in the description below. For now, thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you soon.